is one of those maps where I feel like Breach is still very much the popular choice. So for Crashes to pick up the Sky, it's kind of intriguing. Again, it gives you some of the scouting abilities that Sova has. I actually having to play Sova on a map that no one ever plays Sova. So yeah, I mean, I think that this could work out pretty darn well. Again, both these teams should feel pretty comfortable with these compositions based on their track records on the map.
And I'm excited to see how it shakes out. We've got Renegades mounting their defense to kick things off. And as you noted, Envy near 70% on the win rate on their defensive side. So I think at the very least, they're just looking to pick up a couple here on the attack as the flashes go through. Kurt's going to spot out, deter the push for now. And this mid area, right, there are a whole lot of options. You could completely wrap back around. You could look to push over towards A, and Renegades are privy to this. They're going to toss out the fault line and send Envy right back towards mid and back to the drawing board.
Yeah, that's a lot of utility burn by Renegades, though, just to stop Envy from taking A Heaven control. So, I mean, that's going to burn a lot of their abilities, but you don't need those when you can hit shots like that, it seems. As Randy Savage certainly had a great response there, but now we are going to see Envy take their turn in dishing out some blows. That's going to get them into a post-plant 3v3. Yes, Mummy is very low on health. That is kind of the one factor that's floating out there, but other than that, it's all going to come down to aim and coordination.
Renegades looking to take it slow. All three riled up towards Heaven, looking to play towards that back alley. And obviously the changes back here, they don't give you a whole lot of room to work with, but not a whole lot of room that or angles you have to clear. As I say that, the flashes come on through, the kills are traded back and forth, and now we find ourselves in a 1v1. Finesse finds the tag. Defuse gonna be faked for now. CP2 trying to peek around the corner. The reload comes through, and CP2 grabs the kill. Renegades will grab the round. Barely. You live for a couple more seconds, Finesse, and that goes your way. But this is where we saw Renegades come out on top on Ascent. Now I want to see domination continue past the pistol round.
Yeah, that's kind of almost the epitome of down to the wire. I mean, Randy's House is such a great opening exchange there, but then the swift response from Envy to get themselves to a 3-on-3 post plant, the back and forth retake attempt, all down to this 1v1 that CP2 finds himself victorious in to get that first round. Again, this is for survival for Renegades. They lost the first map of the series. Loser has to wait for the open qualifiers for Challengers 3. Winner, of course, moves on to Challengers 2 and guaranteed a spot in Challengers 3 for the same reason.
Boombot to try and clear out B main. Gonna get shot down as Crashy's taking an aggressive stance up towards Heaven, and it's a tough place to fight now on this new split. You don't have a whole lot to work with, and Winsome gonna come out with 2, not before falling to Finesse, who will back away. Renegades find themselves on top. This is a 4 coming out from Envy. Boost grabs one, this time not on the Reyna, but on the Omen. The kill is gonna be traded back and forth, but because of Winsome picking up 2 for 1, Renegades still find themselves in the driver's seat. And that Spike still kind of floundering around. Mid's been cleared up, so should be able to link up with Mummy up in Heaven. But where do you go from there?
Yeah, gonna be tough for Envy to fight their way out of this one. Food, though, making a great little backstab here, but Retro quick to trade with the Judge. And now it's all on Finesse, who does have Spike possession, still has a good bit of time, but he's playing with fire, challenging the Judge up close, but he comes out on top.
30 seconds left.
Puts that cam into the back pulse for later, as he is going to go ahead and get the Spike planted. So he's going to be able to immediately tell, depending on the timing of this cam, where this player is coming from. And indeed, he does get that intel.
And actually spots him out this time, takes him down, and Renegades, they won a couple of rounds in a row after the pistol. This time, Envy completely stunned that, and I'd actually misspoke. It was Food still alive in Retro in Heaven. Envy somehow, some way, still pull it out.
Indeed, they do. Big clutch from Finesse. Winning the 1-on-2 there. Evening things right back up. We're going to see Renegades try to come right back into this with a couple of frenzies, as well as the Sheriff on Randy Savage. But not going all the way yet. They're still making sure they have money left over. Next, they're going to go ahead and cage the cross. They're going to send the Trailblazer up to clear out ramps. And so, again, kind of getting that scouting capability out of Sky to get them that initial A-ramps control. They also are challenging middle with the rope smokes and Mummy's presence here with the Spectre.
Oh, Stronglegs getting aggressive, but punished for it. And Renegades once more find themselves down a player. They have been able to even the odds in situations like this, but it's looking like a tough one. The Arsenal, it's not necessarily a great force buy like Envy had in the last.
So the spike is still actually in Ramen, and Renegades have kind of control of it. But now we're seeing Mummy put a nice little fight down in sewers. We're seeing Finesse be able to come back through spawn towards that Ramen position. And he actually catches Winston with this knife out and saves the day. That did get a little bit awkward there for a brief moment, despite what I thought was superior map control from Envy. But they are able to slug their way out of it. Once again, Finesse coming in the clutch for his team. Man, oh man.
Yeah, and you pointed it out, right? Where that spike was at, I guess on this save round where you have pistols, you do have to push together, but it seems like Renegades were stuck in there. We just have to hold W here ways. They were just really running around, leaving that Ramen area completely open for a play like that from Finesse. And now we find ourselves full buys across the board. And I think this starts to dictate, you know, you look at the win percentage on the defensive side. You don't want to give up too much to Envy.
You know what the cool thing about that Trailblazer is as well? It means that you get to use the Boombot for something else. I feel like traditionally a lot of races will use the Boombot to clear A ramps if they're kind of being that A ramp lurker. Kind of think of like Relics from Cloud9 Blue, for example, as a player who was really famous for doing that. Or some teams like to put a Cypher over there, like think about Dapper, Finesse. You typically would do it on this map as well. So yeah, it gives you that option to scout A ramps control, but then say the Boombot to actually take site, clear out A heaven, whatever the case may be. So it just gives you that extra bit of utility as we are indeed going to see Envy looking to collapse on this A site. They're up ropes, they're in A heaven, they're at ramps as well. They spot a player in the back halls.
Yep, they get spotted out themselves, though. Now, I don't know. They have zero idea that Winsome is here. It's good for 2 once more. Last time we saw him play in this position, in a fighting position, he went 2 for 1, but still alive, still very healthy, and has the showstopper available. Should he choose to use it? One more playing up towards heaven, though. It's Finesse who's going to be taking down Winsome with a third. Now maybe finds himself an ace. Tries to do something crazy. Fourth. He'll blast pack on. Crash is going to pick up a couple. Who is more clutch than Crash? Oh, it's Stronglegs who sits him down.
Yeah, again, Envy getting some good positioning there all across the map. They had such good movement, but just not checking that corner. Winsome makes him pay for it. And that's going to blow things open here on split. It's going to tie things right back up at 2 apiece. And again, Envy had so many details right there. They just missed one pivotal checkpoint. It's like you're not expecting the bait and switch when you spot that player in back halls. You're not thinking they're giving that many resources to A-Heaven defense. You're thinking, okay, we spotted a guy back A-Heaven. There's probably a guy on site. And they just don't account for that third player to be in the mix.
Ooh, Retro trying to get crazy going up top. I know moving and shooting is fairly accurate, but that might have been wishful thinking that the showstopper's gonna be traded back and forth. Winsome gets the kill, but it's on himself.
Oh no!
Envy, they come out on top of the trade overall.
Oh no, no, no! That is horrible for Renegades. As now Envy are looking to pounce with the Seekers into the site. Mummy up close with the classic. Gonna put them in the threads and in this. Was it sarcophagus? I really ruined that whole stretch.
Coffin?
I really had a chance. It's sarcophagus, right? Egypt, mummies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I ruined it. It's okay. You take it over.
You know that. I think that just goes to show what that round was. It was a couple of showstoppers. It was a couple of quote unquote Rosa alts coming on through. Then you see Mummy go through with the knives. He completely whiffs. He sprints on through the site with the classic, picks up 2 kills. How could you not stumble over your words after that? And on the way out now, Renegades looking to just do some economic damage. Maybe find an upgrade. I'm not too sure what Finesse had as far as weaponry goes, but
wow.
Another round to Envy.
I respect the idea, okay? Like, they basically did the crazy updraft from Retro to confirm whether or not they had a lot of numbers outside A, because they're used to seeing that Trailblazer. But you're thinking to yourself, that's like what, the Cypher and the Sky together, and that's it. They could be putting the other two players like for mid control or whatever the case may be. So Retro jumping up and spotting, I think he spotted 3 or 4 players. And so that's Winsome's like, all right, it's go time. And he's absolutely wrecked himself. I want to say he must have taken some damage from food though, right? I don't think that's all pure his own rocket. I think he took some damage elsewhere along the way.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to get the replay to see who shot first.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of them had taken damage from both sides. Winsome doing the better half of it because he not only damaged food, but also himself. And food, I think, did end up getting healed by Crashy. So a nice place to have the Sky. I guess as far as compositions go, I am a little surprised that we don't see a Sage coming out from Renegade because they were comfortable on it in the last.
Yeah, definitely one of the maps where you could see a Sage. So I think it's just because they're so used to this composition that they, again, really pride themselves on at the end of last year when they made First Strike. Those upsets they got over TSM and Cloud9 were off the back of this composition. I think that's a lot of the reason why we are going to see Envy trying to go ahead and go for the speed split through B Heaven. And so far, not so bad. They get themselves into a 3-on-2, and they should be getting the plant.
Yeah, and upsets. It was the Stinger trying to take down food, but he turns and finds a kill, and Caboose. Choo-choo all aboard. As Envy find another round, they lock down that B site. They start to grow a lead, and this is, I was expecting, quite honestly, 8-4 at the half here. I was thinking Envy attacking, they pick up 4, they could, look to turn it around on defense. They are looking to go through the roof on this attacking side, which could mean they just close it out on defense.
Yeah, this is starting to get real dangerous. Now, luckily, Renegades have 4 ults coming into play, including a Rolling Thunder and a Lockdown, which are both great retake options for Renegades. So they definitely are going to have some heavy weapons, I guess, to put into play here in this next round. It's Crashy just trying to make sure that no one's getting aggressive at top middle. Meanwhile, we're seeing some lobby aggression from Stronglegs. It's good for 1. And CP2 with the Aftershock in combination is going to net Renegades a favorable exchange. And they still have their ults in play.
This is the first time in a long time that we've seen Renegades on the front foot in one of these rounds.
Yeah.
When some only a frenzy needs to get out of dodge so that Boombot doesn't get a whole lot of value. Retro with the knives as well. This is a very tight angle. He needs to thread the needle. He spots the head of 1.
Yep.
2 more should be pushing on up here. This is not a great angle. He's able to find the grape of food, and he will pop it. The blades will reset, then he'll look to back away. Now CP2 privy that 1 might have snuck on by. He's able to trade some damage. Also has the Rolling Thunder should he want to get crazy. And can I just say the Aftershock kill, that is more rare than a knife to me. That is so rare to pick up.
Yeah, it's more for clearing angles than getting actual frags.
30 seconds left.
And now Envy are they're absolutely pinched in the defending back calls. Like, this is such an awkward situation for them to be in. Crashy's just certainly going to get this damnedest effort. He's actually able to get into A site with the spike, and he might actually get this plan off. Indeed, he will. Clutching, different story.
Yeah, he's got some utility, but he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Winsome finally sits him down. He had utility, just 0 space. Renegades
and 0
HP.
He was so softened up. It's going to be a tough ask for him to pull off much more than he did. So Renegades hanging on, and they still have their 2 big retake ults available to them into the next round. So a great opportunity to go ahead and tie this thing up, if it even comes down to that. That Aftershock, bro. Love to see it.
It's in the chaos that Renegade, right? I feel like a lot of the eco rounds, a lot of the rounds in general with Renegades have just been chaos. So you have a couple of members just flying through B main. You're just trying to clear some of the angles or get around some of the angles so you're not getting shot, and then you walk right into the Aftershock. And man, that is the calm inside of the storm, or the eye of the storm there for Renegades, and it nets them a round win. But Retro in a bad spot. They spot him out, and food takes him down. The operator no more.
That's big for Envy to pin Retro down at that box position. He had no way to escape without Envy catching him on the cross. Now the B attack comes in, the dash and flash. Stronglegs only good for 1. So that's going to be a 4-on-3 again, though. They have 2 big retaking ults. There still is a chance of them, despite the fact they're a man down.
Yeah, and with the spike planted on V, Finesse is just getting out of dodge here, and he's buying so much space because they're having to run him down in mid. Now, Randy Savage is able to find a couple, but it's not enough. This space that Finesse bought there, he ran all the way into sewers, and they chased him, and then, again, it was just a crazy show up towards heaven.
Yeah, I mean, again, Envy are privy to that same type of attacking strategy that Renegades made famous on these B attacks on split. The jet dash with the combination of the raids being able to blast pack in as well. They can really close distance quickly. And the fact that they were also able to get that pick at middle and threaten mailroom really made it a lot harder for Renegades to be able to respond to all fronts at once. It just opened up so many options for Envy to take matters into their own hands, as now once again they're going back to the A Rance control. This time they used the boom bot to get Rance. They're going to send the Trailblazer in to clear the close corners underneath Heaven, as well as the back right corner of the site itself. And now they know pretty much everything about this A site formation, which is there isn't one.
Yeah. There ain't a whole lot going on the A site. It's just Randy Savage in the back with that Sheriff trying to find something as Food plays inside the smoke. And once more, it's Renegades. The economy not great. They're just going to try and grab whatever they can here on the back end of this. And Boost actually going to fall to the stinger of CP2. Food is able to find that kill onto Randy Savage, so may be able to upgrade that Sheriff as he finds another one on the way out. 2 HP is enough for him to want to back away, and Envy should have no problems closing it out.
They're running out of rounds to put these big ults to use, by the way. Like, Breach and Killjoy have still been holding on to Rolling Thunder and the lockdown for like 3 rounds now, I think, and there's only, 3 more rounds left to go in the half. So you kind of want to space them out if you can. Only have to use one streets, and now all of a sudden you have Envy sitting on 4 ults all of a sudden to counter you. So yeah, I mean, Envy is really showing you the power of a map that traditionally you'd be a little bit more limited on getting intel because you can't really play a Sova on this map because of the way it's constructed. You make up for it by playing Sky, and you have the boom bot from Raze. So you get to basically clear out like 2 big routes at the same time to give you the intel you need to really pounce on a site, and that's exactly what you saw there from Envy.
And there's that Rolling Thunder. Now trying to play aggressive is Renegades. Caboose go on the flank, though, with the From the Shadows. It completely stunts that push. The spike in an awkward spot, but Envy should have no problem being able to pick that one up. And there's that kill. That's exactly what you needed from your Omen on the flank. Maybe looking for another. He's able to find another. Trying back away, and he just keeps fragging. Caboose goes good for 3.
And then their ult theft comes in from Finesse as well to confirm these last couple of players. CP2 stuck at elbow, trounced there by Crashies, and that is a nightmare. One of their big ults they had to put to use to try to creep back into the half basically went empty-handed. It didn't collect anything on this A main push, and all it did was set up Caboose to ult into the back lines, and he winds up coming up with 3. That is incredible from Caboose, but also somewhat unforgivable for Renegades to allow him that much reign of the map. They committed so much to battling out A main, and it just didn't go their way at all. Envy are just dominating this. Look at all those rounds from Renegades. One's a pistol, the other 2 are an absolute island. They have no consistency on this defense.
And that is pretty worst case scenario when you're about to let Envy be on the defensive end of things here in a couple of rounds. You could be looking at 9-3, and again, we've already kind of harped on it. Envy is lockdown on defense. This round, it's not the best arsenal. The last one, it does look like Renegades will be able to full buy, but it's starting to fall apart. CP2 goes down, a couple of kills traded back. Nerf the Bucky as Winsome finds that kill, but Finesse from mid. Strong Legs barely missing out on the paranoia, and it's been back and forth.
I don't think they know about this from Crashies. I think they're in a lot of trouble here. Oh my god.
Randy Savage.
The timing there is absolutely incredible. I can't even believe he turned at just the right time. Literally the perfect time.
And he has 2 HP. That could have easily completely opened a can of worms up towards Heaven. Now, an eco round with a handful of upgrades coming through for Renegades. They should be able to grab some rifles on the way out. And some of those ultimates that we probably would have liked to have seen sooner to win earlier rounds are available going into the last. Now, Mummy, we can't count him out. Has the knives, has an operator, has the spike, has a site. There's a whole lot going his way, minus the 1v3.
Yeah, that's a really big factor not going his way.
Yeah. Oh, Satchel through, Winsome, able to find the kill. And I thought once the paint shells was coming, maybe use the
I think
the knives
you really
there.
undersold the big factor. That was I don't think you really quite nailed it, but that's okay. Renegades, big victory there. Like you said, they still have the lockdown in play as well coming into this next round, so great tool to have. And yeah, this is so wild. If Crashy slips in like half a second earlier, he probably kills Randy Savage and he puts his team in a 2v2.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that right there, it would have taken just a running spray. He was on 2 HP. Easily could have done that. And then instead of worrying about Mummy in that vents area, you completely have to turn your attention towards the flank on. That is timing, tactical shooter timing at its finest. And another big window missed here. They didn't spot behind sign.
Yep. Yeah, they didn't actually check that, so that could be a real problem. It's like the one stone they left unturned, and Randy Savage is indeed going to get that kill, and he gets the ult from his teammate to help support the site, but Envy are still trading their way out here. Winsome will try to disrupt, though, with the showstopper, but he's not good for it. Finesse silences him, and Caboose comes in onto Retro. Oh my goodness, they didn't even get a chance to put down the lockdown. They got absolutely crushed.
That we would have to go back and look, but Dust, was it not 6-7 rounds that they hung on to that lockdown? And look at Randy Savage, 10 kills. That's quite possibly another lockdown that you may have had deeper into that half.
I feel like the way that Envy was attacking and making the rounds chaotic, it was really hard for him to ever figure out a chance to put it down. I think that was a part of it, so I don't like fully blame him, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, for it never really being utilized. But yeah, you do have to question if there could have been some type of play built around that to kind of set up a better retake, because giving Envy 8 rounds on attack of Split when they're perhaps I'm trying to think of like a team that might have a higher defensive win rate than Envy on Split. Maybe Sentinels?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure somebody in the Twitch chat will be letting us know, especially if they're a fan of that team that we're not mentioning.
Vision Strikers, because they win everything. I mean, yeah, you could put that one out there. I meant within the region, obviously.
Right. So with this being 8-4 at the half, I was expecting the inverse. Now Renegades, once more, they have to go so huge. Not only in this pistol, but outside of the pistol. We've kind of once more harped on that, where it's been fairly underwhelming outside of those pistol rounds. And again, you're staring at a Titan in Envy as the dash comes through. Mummy finds a bit of damage, tries to dash away himself, and he's able to make it out. Unfortunately, Finesse is not. Now the retake will ensue as all 5 members for Renegades have stormed this site. A couple of low health bars, so a doable retake. Renegades need this pistol. Yeah, they have a pretty good situation in front of them here. They all are kind of boxed in, and now they're going to get mass paranoid, which is going to open up the floodgates for Envy to come piling in. Luckily, Winsome and CP2 up to the challenge, leaving Food all alone in a tough 1v2. They had low health, but he could never really find the fight he wanted, as Renegades will collect a huge pistol. Like, you feel like without that, it might be all she wrote. Especially with the meta that we're in, where every team seems to force after losing that pistol. So yeah, the next 3 or 4 rounds could have gone Envy's way. Now we're actually seeing the opposite. Envy just hanging out. They're staying. They want to make sure that round 3 they'll have that full buy. They're not waiting another round. They're not forcing up in this one. We'll see what Renegades can get done. Full Spectres across the board, so a bit more range on it. Not necessarily sticking with those stingers, as the Flash is going to get the information that they were peeking towards B main, but not much more to be found. And Caboose with an aggressive stance, the classic, not going to find too much just yet. Yeah, we are seeing Renegades really looking to battle here for B lobby, but this pileup of players and Envy is making it difficult on them. Luckily, they're able to battle back a 2-for-1 trade. So now they have a 4-on-3 going forward in this round, as B is certainly vulnerable at this point. And obviously the firepower favors Renegades at the same time. So looking pretty good for Renegades.
like their chances in this one for sure.
In the midst of the chaos, Caboose was able to sneak into that garage and sneak on out. Now inside the smoke with the Classic. Unfortunately, not going to beat out the Spectre, but Mummy battles back a 1v3, 10 HP, but CP2 will sit him down. Renegade string 2 together. They're not out of the woodworks just yet. We're going into a full buy and a bonus round for Renegades, which quite honestly, this is a round you still really want to win. It would destroy the economy.
Yeah, again, I really feel like Envy might be the best defensive team on Split in the region for sure. Like I said, near 70% win rate on defensively. There's a couple other teams that are like in the 60% range or so, but I do think Envy is well out on top. And again, for them to have this much cushion already really is gonna make it to where Renegades have to basically play a perfect attacking side to force a third map here.
That's another quick push again. The chaos that is Renegades is going to be stunted for a moment as Finesse finds one. Mummy grabs another, but it's back and forth. And Randy Savage only bought a Sheriff in this round and goes good for 2 kills and just opens up this site. The Spectre from downtown from CP2 leaves it all up to Caboose in a 1v3.
Planted.
Oh, okay. One shot on the CP2 will sit him down. Another headshot gonna pop him. Now the imposter will fall, and Caboose gets it done.
Oh my goodness, Caboose, you absolute madman. Just finding the 1v1 somehow, some way. And it's always tough for me as an analytical mind, Tanner, to like weigh up the difference between how impressive it was from Caboose, but how disappointing that was from Renegades to drop. I mean, you're doing everything. There's no need for CP2 to commit to that peak. And I don't know, man. I feel like they got a little bit overeager in that post plant, and they just opened the doors for Caboose. Now, Caboose still has to play smart. He still has to make sure that he takes his fights appropriately and doesn't overcommit to a duel. But put it this way. Even if you play that out perfectly, as long as no one makes a mistake on the opposing side, you shouldn't win.
Yeah. Yeah, a solo peek off the flash means the breach goes down. No more flashes to work with, and then 1v1s across the board. This time, though, Retro gonna go good for 2. Caboose not gonna be alive to clutch it. Crash trying to get aggressive, tosses out the flash. Unfortunately, not peeking his corners means Retro will go good for 3. Retro does rhyme with Metro, and I got a little slipped up on that one, but it is a 4v2. It is the B site completely taken. We might see Envy creeping over towards a save. It says just a judge from downtown from Mummy. Renegade should be able to close it out nice and easy like, but FNS looking to make it hurt. Retro grabs 4, and we're inching closer. That is a good way to battle back after a very crushing loss.
Yeah, it kind of handed to them on a silver platter as Envy was trying to make an aggressive V lobby play and just didn't quite pan out. Their game plan just didn't unfold the way that they were hoping. Retro really crushed them there at the start. And all right, so Tanner Metro, right? Where does the Metro come in? Give me the origin story.
You know, I've actually had a lot of people ask me.
Hold on, first question: is your first name actually Tanner?
Yes, my first name is Tanner. My last name is Metro.
So, are you serious? Really?
Yeah, that's just my last name. So,
pressing X for doubt.
No, that's it. I had a lady at the airport tell me I had a superstar name, and I kind of just ran with it.
That is a sick name. Absolutely. Respect to your parents.
Yeah, thanks for my ancestors from coming over. Ellis Island, chopped it down from whatever it was before to just Metro, and here we are today, baby.
Man. All right, so this round has been an interesting start, mostly due to my weird questioning, but also due to what we've seen. And now, oh my, here it comes. Randy Savage, lockdown special, the dash, the blast packing. Let's get it. Wait, they're not getting it.
No, very slow. They're waiting for it to be cleared out, and it's still not going to be completely cleared out, right? Back of sight, still available. See, Caboose actually pushed the back of sight and then reposition. Not going to find anything, though, unfortunately. CP2 comes out in the trade. The Bucky from up top, though, the Batman from Food, and you just can't plant the spike. And there's a Bucky on the site. Strong Legs doing his darndest to turn around, but low health bars onto, and a classic to finally get it done. Now, Finesse, the top frag for this NV squad thus far in the game. 2 low health bars. He's got a Frenzy. He's got a Dream. He's got the first kill, and this is doable.
Surely not. Like you said, it is doable, though. There's a low health player. Oh, the neural theft.
Neural theft gives the info. He sprays one down. He's able to sneak away 19 HP. He's going to play around the pillar. The ring around the rosy will ensue. That's the playtime through the smoke. Finesse gets it done somehow, some way. Envy are just clutch.
Oh, have my children, Finesse. Just have them all. If they're going to be able to do things like that, they're investments for the future. This is so... what's most impressive to me is how he timed it. Like, he made sure that he would get maximum impact out of the neural theft and just gut checking the oh my god, that was so good.
This goes here. Yes.
I can't even fault Renegades for that one. Finesse just literally watermelon brained them. He's out there playing 237 dimensional chess. If you follow Finesse from CSGO, you'll get the reference.
Wow, what a round. And again, they're rounds you would expect Renegades to win. You take away those 2 rounds and you're looking at a 9-8 Renegades lead. But Envy just figure out a way to get it done. It's the fight in the heart of this team. You absolutely love to see it. And we need to see a bit of that fight coming out from Renegades now that they find themselves on a full buy.
God, that was maybe one of the dirtiest clutches I've seen in a while. That was just so good. Envy on the verge here of finding themselves in Challengers 2. We see Renegades trying to get some mid control. They know to use the Boombot to clear out Mail. Drops down off of B-Hubbin as well. Crashies is still trying to kind of play it here from the rafters. The Rolling Thunder comes in. The counter flash, though, from Crashies is pretty solid. Actually, forcing them to kind of double back over to Ropes.
And this is not a safe place here as FNS is here. He is hot, but he's going to be taken down. Food goes good with the showstopper, but it's back and forth, and we are even once more. Unfortunately, you're running out of time. 30 seconds on the clock. A player down now. Our Renegades, low HP onto strong legs, and CP2's got to do something crazy here. He has full utility, but it's looking like another Envy round win just because he doesn't have the time. What is this game?
What?
It looked like Crashies was memeing with his knife out, not expecting it.
What the heck?
Well, if you want to go ahead and break that one down for us, Dust.
Bruh.
30 seconds left.
How? This is...
That's gut wrenching.
How do you not laugh at? How do you not laugh at that? How do you not laugh at that? Surely you laugh at that. Like, that's unbelievable. I have to say that Renegades do get kind of incredibly unlucky because when they did the Rolling Thunder over towards B Heaven, right? They get counter flash from Crashies, so they decide to double back, kind of throw this like a little bit of a fake. Fair enough. Mummy was literally in back halls, about to be in defensive spawn to help reinforce the B side of the map, and the moment that they pulled the trigger on Ropes, Mummy was like just passing the A Heaven doorway. And then they had a guy aggressive ramps. So they just have like the perfect crossfire for that. And then the Omen ults right into it. You got Food there with the showstopper ready to go. Is like, oh my God, it's so unlucky. Like, I feel like that fake works more often than not, but Envy happen to be the perfect spots to get right back where they needed to be defend against it. And then the ending to the round was just bizarre, to say the least.
Yeah, very, very bizarre. I think a very fitting way, again, just chaos in this series coming out. But you typically expect it from Renegades, but this Crashies to do it. Now the paranoia comes through. It's able to stunt Caboose from peeking for now. Flash on the backside, and this has to just be frustrating. You're flashing your teammates, you're flashing the enemy. Strong Legs goes good for 2, and Caboose is able to trade it back 2 for 2. The Omens go, but CP2 not taken down by the Classic. Instead, the hands of FNS. And once more, a 2v2. We are evened up. The spike is planted, and Envy will find themselves in a retake situation.
Yeah, somehow Envy had battled their way back into this despite the clean take from Renegades on these initial trades. But now the retake is commencing. Mummy and Finesse. They're smoking off main, trying to isolate some battles towards pillar and backside. Mummy, he strikes first in the Randy Savage, now all on Retro. And he is not long for this world. And man, it does feel like the final nails are being put in Renegade's coffin, man. The I's are being dotted, the T's are being crossed, and Envy are looking to publish their papers to head into Challengers 2.
Match point.
It is looking that way. And again, I don't know the math on this looking at it, but it's 4 out of the last 7. If you win 5 out of the last 8, I think that's less than 70%, but it's still pretty darn good for Envy, and it's still enough here. The worst part about it all is that was a round where I would typically say, well, you know, if you're Renegades, this is where you need to turn it on because you have one round to play with. Now you have to be perfect.
The problem is Renegades are losing like multiple rounds where they're up like 2 or 3 players, and you cannot have that happen. I mean, that clutch from Caboose was like the tipping point, it felt like. When Caboose gets that 1v3 clutch inside the A site, it's just all been downhill from there. Renegades have let so many rounds slip where it looked like they had the edge, and I have to wonder if part of it's like mental fatigue. I can't know what's going on in their communications, but I feel like they've had their chances here on this map.
And that is just not a great way to start it here. It's a low buy as Finesse goes good for another, and Retro trades it back. 2 for 2 across the board. Things are even, but even when things have been even, Envy have found a way to win the round. Now, Food sneaks through the smoke, up towards Heaven, out towards the Raptors. He will go. He hears that spike going down. The turret goes up top. He's able to get out of dodge, not before tossing out the paint shells. I don't think it got a whole lot of value. Yeah. Oh, Caboose from downtown, though, again. The imposter down, Envy a player up, and the last 2 corralled on this site. Everybody just running them down, but Retro is not done just yet. Neither is Randy Savage. In a 1v2, it's up to Crashies. We talked about the value he gets as a support player. Can he keep it going? He picks up 1. Retro will sit him down for the 3K, and Renegades stay alive.
There we go. Finally, Renegades finishing off a round that they were coasting through. That is huge, I have to feel, for their mental in this situation. To be able to pull that one out is great. They will be able to rebuy off the back end. It was an expensive round, don't get me wrong, but the great thing is that they can replenish, and they're honestly starting to whittle away at Envy's economy. Like, they're eventually going to force a save out of Envy. Probably this next round, if they can win this one. That should put them at 10 rounds, and then you're 2 away from an overtime. So there's definitely still a way back in here for Renegades, despite some of their struggles throughout the mid portion of this half. But Mummy, he's looking to play spoiler, trying to get up close, but he's flashed back. Strong Legs able to ult into screens and maintain it.
Ooh, and Winsome actually able to find a kill on FNS, who's been so good, but Mummy just as good. Now with the knives, Strong Legs with his positioning, is able to pick up a kill, and the knives finally go down. We are even across the board again. The knives are available for Renegades. Not a whole lot in the category here for Envy, but the spike yet to be planted in a bad spot as Strong Legs picks that one up. Again, the last 2 corralled. Yeah.
They can't get out sight. They have to plant, and they have to stay in the site. This is allowing Envy to maneuver around a lot without Renegades being able to pick up on exactly where they're going to be coming from. They're trying to fake the plant and draw out some peeks, which they have accomplished.
1 enemy remaining.
Oh, Retro picks another one up here. Ooh, the last one standing, 44 HP, is going to back off and maybe allow some space. 40 seconds left on the clock. Renegades now have the information that they should be able to sneak away, but Food has since backed up, has the high ground, and instead of sneaking away, they just go right back to it. Nothing has changed. We just took a small timeout in the middle of this round, and now Food has to try and clutch into 1v2. Renegades have to win this one to stay alive, but they go back to the qualifiers. The shot to try and bait out the drop from Heaven, maybe thinking that the elevation has changed, and Renegades, they're not peeking this time. They're holding it down. They're holding their angles, and they got a nice crossfire.
Yeah, they're also able to get their Omen to teleport out of dodge in the center of the site. Now they're both going to be towards elbow. They could line up for Food. That's the one fear of them both being here. But as time dwindles, Food is running out of options. He decides to swing in. He does find Retro, but he has no idea what side the Elm will be coming from, but he draws him out anyway. Food will now stick to the fuse, doesn't have the time to do it. It's going to be down to the wire, but he just gets it, and that's Renegades gone from Challengers 2's qualification process. They will now have to wait for the open qualifier for Challengers 3. It'll be Envy joining the rest in the Challengers 2 coming up later this week. What a way to finish it.
What a way. That feels like a nice cherry on top of what could have been a Renegades comeback. But Envy backs against